We're back in the tackle room, and today we're talking about if you only have a limited budget to work with this holiday season and you need to maximize your bang for the buck, have I got the holiday buying guide for you. Stick around, you don't want to miss this one. And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and here we are again, the holiday season. It's hard to believe that Thanksgiving is just a couple of days away, and right after that, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and a hectic holiday season. And if you have an angler that you need to shop for, but you don't have a lot of money to do it, well, I've got the perfect buyer's guide for you, because I have some things that this is what worked for me, but working on a budget. I didn't spend a lot of money for any of these items. I tried to maximize my dollar, stretch it as far as I could, and yet still get the gear I needed. Not only to catch fish, but to beat up regularly, to use almost every day while fishing almost every day as part of the YouTube channel. Now, a caveat here. I'm not representing any of these companies. I'm not sponsored by them. I have nothing to do with them. I'm not making a penny off of any of this. So most of these links are going to be good old Walmart and an Odd Academy link here and there, which I will put in the description. But the best part is these are tried and true pieces of gear and bait and tackle that I have used over the past year. I know they work because I've been putting them through the ringer. I'm not easy on my gear. I go out on the water every day. I'm spending hours on the water virtually every day working on this YouTube thing. And I'm telling you, my gear has to be tough enough to withstand hours and hours and hours of fishing. My rods, my reels, I've got to have the gear that can last that long. So we're going to be looking at some of the gear that I used this year that's not going to break the bank, that I used to catch a lot of the fish that you saw me catch this year. So let's get right into it, and we're going to start at the very lowest end, the very bottom end, and that is this right here. This is an Abu Garcia Max Z. You get these at Walmart. They're about $40, $45. The link will be below, and it's just a little spinning combo. It does exactly what I need for it to do. It's a great little combo, especially for the money that I paid for this. I've had this particular one about 2 years now, and I have really put it through the ringer. You guys have seen this on the channel time and time again. You've seen me use it as a wacky rig. You've seen me put jerk baits on here. You've seen me do, soft plastic flukes and other various types of riggings and presentations with this reel. And it's a great reel. I've not had any trouble out of it. Have to keep it clean, have to keep it oiled and lubricated, but that's with any piece of equipment that you want to last for a while. Like I said, you can get these at Walmart all day, and if you have an angler that needs a good cheap spinning gear that's not going to let them down and it's going to be able to catch those fish, Abu Garcia Max Z is a great choice. And like I said, these are about $45 at Walmart. You can pick them up today. They'll probably be on the shelf or you can get them online. And I have this reel paired up with a Daiwa Laguna rod, 7-foot medium length. I use this for all my finesse presentations, and I bought these two together. This rod and reel I bought together. And this rod is probably going to run you about $35 or $40. I got this at Academy, bought it off of the rack at Academy when I bought this reel. The same day, I believe, and I've been using them together ever since. I've caught well over 100 fish with this combo, and it's definitely done me right. And the great part about it is just because it's cheap doesn't mean it can't feel bites. Don't get into that trap that just because you buy a budget rod or a more inexpensive rod that you're not going to be able to detect bites. This, I can detect bites. I catch fish with it all the time, so I'm not missing bites. So if you need a budget spinning combo, a entry-level spinning combo that will get you where you want to go as far as finesse, or maybe just a little bit higher than that, this Max Z and this Dialwork Laguna rod, they worked great together. And now we're going to go up just a little bit. We're going to tick it up one notch, and that is with the bait caster here. This is the same family as that one is, as the spinning reel was. This is an Abu Garcia Max Z, same family. And this one's going to run you about $51, $52 at Walmart, depending, I guess, on which one you go, whether you get it online, whether you get it in the store. But this replaced my old Silver Max. I love this thing so far. I have had no trouble with it. You can see I've got it as a braid setup. This is my multi-purpose do-it-all braid. Today, I had a frog on it because I was fishing some pondweed with it, and it worked in a pinch. It was able to pull out some of those fish out of that heavier slop, out of that pondweed. I wouldn't use it every single time, but for today, it did great. I also had a Texas rig tied onto it for a little while, and I also had a jig tied onto it for a little while. So I was able to get a little bit of a do-it-all out of this reel, and it worked great. It's got a 7-to-1 gear ratio, 7-1-to-1 gear ratio, which is perfect for what I'm using it for. And the rod that I have it paired up, I'm sure you guys have seen me using these a lot, and this is an Abu Garcia Vengeance rod. Now, this is probably the highest priced rod that you will find at Walmart. This will run you about $60 to $70 for this rod, and for Walmart, that's going to be your higher end. This is actually a lower end Abu Garcia rod, because after this they've got the Veritas, then they've got the Pro series, the Advanced series, and all of those going up to $150, $200 a piece. This one here run you about $60 to $70 depending on which one you get. I love these things, and paired up with this reel, they work together like peanut butter and jelly. It's a medium heavy, 7-foot medium heavy. So like I said, it's a do-it-all setup. On this one, I've got braid. You've seen me use them on my other setups. I have several of these rods, and if I didn't like them, why would I keep getting them? So over and over again, this has been a great rod for me. And one of the biggest bonuses of this rod is where that bait keeper is. That bait keeper is right where it needs to be, right there. So I can hook it up. I don't have to hook it here. And most certainly not down under the handle. I hate having a hook keeper here. If I see a rod that's got a hook keeper down here, a lot of times that will be a deal breaker with me on buying them. I just like it better here. If it's anyplace else, I have a tendency to grab the hook rather than the reel, rather than the rod. So it can be just a pain in the butt. But anyway, this is a great setup, and it's not going to set you back that much. With this reel and this rod, you're looking at about $120, which for a more advanced angler, this is still entry level, but it will definitely get you where you want to go. It will definitely get the job done, and it's going to last you a while. Take care of it, keep it clean, keep it oiled, make sure that it's, got the dust and the gunk out of it. It'll last you years. You won't have to worry about it. Now, let's move just a little bit higher up on the price chart here, as it were. Let's move a little bit higher up on the price chart, and that's this guy right here. And this is an Abu Garcia. This is a Pro Max, or a Max Pro. Now, these will usually run you about $75, $80, but right now they're on sale for $67. So if you're going to get one, now's the time to get one. This is another do-it-all combo for me. It's a little higher end. It's a little bit, a little bit more pricey by about $10 or $15 than the Max Z, but it does perfectly well. It's a great reel. I've had this one a couple years. I've beat it up for a couple of years, and it is still going strong. Again, paired up with another Abu Garcia Vengeance, 7-foot medium heavy, but this is more my fluorocarbon do-it-all setup. As you can see, I've still got a Texas rig hooked up to it, and it works a Texas rig great. You can do a crankbait great. It's got the 7.4-to-1 gear ratio on it, so just a little bit faster. You can maybe burn a crank a little bit better. You can maybe run a buzz bait, or you can maybe do a spinner bait or something. You can maybe burn that a little bit quicker if that's what you want to do. But I've worked this bait. I've used it for cranking a little bit. I've used it for a little bit of top water. I've done just about everything with this reel, and it's been a perfect fit for almost everything I want to do. It's been a great reel. And again, it's going to run you normally about $80, but they're on sale now for, I think, $67. I'll put the link below in the description. You can go check it out. Like I said, I'm not getting a penny for any of this. This is so you can afford good gear. This is so you can have the gear. You can go out on the lake and you'll be able to work with real gear that will get the job done for you. And you're not going to break the bank doing it. Now, the next one up is a reel that I'm really fond of. You see what I did there? And this is a Lew's XS 30A. Again, this is in that budget range. You're looking at $45 or $50 for this. And I love this reel. This has been my swim bait reel, and it works great for that. As you can see, I've got a swim bait tied to it now. And we've got this paired with a Duckett Green Ghost rod. A great all-around swim bait presentation. I can use it as some heavier, deeper jerkbait fishing, which I do with some of my deeper jerkbaits, but as overall for a swim bait presentation, or if you want to use it for a jerkbait presentation or something like that, this is a perfect setup. And this is going to run you, this reel, like I said, run you about $45 or $50 at walmart.com. The rod I got at Academy, and this is going to be a more pricey rod. I spent a little bit of money on this. It's a Duckett, and this rod cost me $90 or $100, but it's worth it. You know, if you're going to spend money on the rod. If you're going to save money on the reel, spend money on the rod. You know, like I said before, if you buy a good quality rod, even if it's a budget rod, that doesn't mean you're not going to feel bites. You will. I definitely feel bites on this. I really like the construction on it. You can feel how well put together it is. But it's a Duckett rod. It's a great name. Everybody loves a Duckett rod. So I just wanted to try and get one to see how it worked. And I've had this rod a year and a half, 2 years now, somewhere in that vicinity. And this system right here has worked great for me. And you don't have to put a Duckett rod on here. You can get something like a Daiwa Laguna, and it would work great. Medium heavy Daiwa Laguna, or just a regular medium Daiwa Laguna. Spend about $40 for that, and you would have a really great combo. But this is what I chose to go with, and it works really, really well for me. Well, now we're going to move on to the higher end of the spectrum. This is where I have spent my money, because this is where I do the bulk of my fishing, and that is this guy right here. This is a Lew's Pro SP skipping and pitching reel, and this runs about $200 for these. These are not cheap, but this is a very comfortable, very effective reel. That's why I got it. Anybody who knows me knows that a lot of times I will have a jig rod in my hand. And if I'm fishing shallow, beating the bank, skipping up underbrush, I'll have this reel in my hand. It's been on the channel many, many times. You've seen me catch plenty of fish with it. I caught fish with this jig working it today. So, I was using it to skip under some laurel bushes and some overhanging brush. It works great for that. You have to try to backlash this. If you're trying to get it, to get it to backlash, you might be able to, but it's set up in such a way, it's really, really hard to get these to backlash. Great reel, but like I said, about $200. But if you like to skip and pitch baits, back up under brush, up under docks, or whatever, this reel is definitely worth the investment. And I've got this paired on a Laser SG1 rod, speed stick rod. This is not a very expensive rod. It probably ran about $80. It's going to be more the higher end of the rods that I'm showing you today, but it's actually a very good rod. But again, this has got the one downside. It's got the hook keeper right here, and I am not a fan of that. I don't like the hook keeper down here. So come on, Lew's, put it up here where it goes. Quit putting it down here so people grab the hook when they're trying to grab their reel. Put it up here where it goes. I mean, you see where I don't even use the thing. This is where I have to put that bait, because I don't like having the hook keeper down here, because every time I try to go to grab my reel and I've got it down here, I grab a handful of hook. I don't like that. So please put your hook keepers up here. And some of the rods that I have, that older ones that have the hook keepers down here, I've actually taken some epoxy and made my own hook keeper there. I just haven't done that with this one yet. But anyway, great combo. But all in, this one's going to be north of 300. So this one's going to be a little bit more hefty on it, but it's a very specialized tool, and it's worth the money that I paid for it. Now, there is one more rod we're going to talk about, And it's this guy right here, the Shimano Celis. And these run $50, $60 at Academy. And I love these things. This is one of my heavier rods. This is a 7.3 heavy action, and it's got a fast tip on it. And I use this as a jig rod. This is one of my main jig rods, and I love this thing. Had it a couple years, have had zero problems with it. I have caught 4 and 5 and 6 pound bass. I think I even caught one just north of 7 pounds with this rod. Haven't had any trouble with it. I don't know if they make the 7.3 anymore. Honestly, I don't know. I believe that all they make is a 7.2 and it might be a 7.4. But, you know, I haven't seen the 7.3. This I bought off the shelf at Academy. I bought it off the rack, which is normally how I do my rod fishing. I don't try to get fancy with it. I try to get what I feel is going to be effective, what I think is going to work for me, and that I'm not going to pay a whole bunch of money for, because, you know, as my wife say, I would pinch a nickel until it begged for mercy. But a Shimano Celis at Academy, great rod. I'm sure they've got these on Tackle Warehouse. I'm sure Bass Pro has got these wherever your preferred place to go shopping for fishing equipment, fishing gear. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to find that. So we're going to move from the rods and reels to some stocking stuffers, some baits that I like, some of the tackle that I like. And we're going to start with some Eagle Claw hooks, right? You get these at Walmart. They're $3-4. This pack I think was $3.97, so $4. You get 12 in here, 4/0 EWG. These are the heavier wire ones. These are the laser sharp. These things work great. I do not spend a bunch of money on hooks if I don't need to. I know Gamakatsus are great hooks. I know Berkley Fusions are great hooks. Hayabusas are great hooks. Yes, owner hooks are all great hooks. These are what I'm spending my money on, because when you're fishing every day like I am, you tend to go through a lot of hooks, you know. And I don't have sponsors. I don't have people beating down my door throwing gear at me. This stuff comes out of my pocket. And if it's got to come out of my pocket, it's got to be worth it. So if I'm paying $4, I'm getting 12 hooks, and I'm not losing fish, because these things are sharp. They do the job. Everybody's been using Eagle Claw since you were a kid. There's no reason to stop using Eagle Claw. So if you're trying to save some money, here's a good way to save some money. Now, moving on, we're going to kind of finish this up with some stocking stuffers, and that is something like this, the Strike King Bitsy Bug Jig. Now, you can get these jigs. I'm sure you've seen them on that bottom shelf in the Walmart fishing tackle section. It's got the swim jigs. It's got the football jigs. It's got these little Bitsy Bug jigs. Buy them. They catch fish, and you get a couple of Rage Grub trailers in there. And this is probably the only place that I can think of to get the mini Rage Grub. And I love those mini grubs because I can put them on so many different things. They actually work as a trailer on, you know, and I can use them as a trailer on a chatterbait if I want to. I've used them as a trailer on different types of jigs, and they give me the look that I'm wanting. So, you know, a smaller paired presentation. But if you can get the football jig, if you can get the swim jigs, they are all great products. And I think they're probably going to run you about $3 a piece, which is peanuts, especially when you're getting a jig and you're getting some trailers in there. So, you know, they work, they catch fish. I've got tons of these, and I'm not really going through them as much as I thought I would. They last a lot longer than I thought I would. I figured I was going to get these and start bending out hooks, but I'm not. So like I said, you need some stocking stuffers. You're not sure about jig fishing. You want to dip your feet into it, see if you can get somewhere with it. Here's a great place to start. You don't need to spend a bunch of money on that. Along that same vein is this guy right here. Little Bitsy Flip. You know, you can get these at Academy all day long. And I saw these at my local Academy. They were currently $1.97. They're normally $2.97, so again, they're not that expensive. And they are great little jigs. You can wet your feet, as it were, get your feet wet when it comes to fishing a jig with these. You know, you can dip your toes in the water, because these can be fished so many different ways. Fish them under docks, fish them under brush, drag them out deep, you know. You put a trailer on them and they work great. And they're a lot more durable than you think they are. And especially now when we're all looking to pare down the size of our presentations for that cold water presentation, this can be a great way to do it. And like I said, great little stocking stuffer at about $2 to $3. Now, next up, we got something that's pretty near and dear to my heart, something I've been fishing for a long time, and that's the Arky jig. These are about $2 at Walmart. They're cheap in price, but they actually work a lot better than you think a $2 jig would work. I've been using these for years. I've been beating them up for years, and I always have a bunch on standby. I've caught so many fish on these, and I've been fishing Arky brand stuff since I was a kid. It's one of those nostalgia things, but I still fish these jigs in my regular rotation. As a matter of fact, in my jig box, the whole top row of my jig box, the first 8 compartments, I think it is, are all Arky jigs of different types. So different colors, different sizes. They just work. They're not anything fancy. Sometimes you need a little bit of glue to keep the trailer on there, but other than that, you're not going to have any problem fishing these any way you want to. And they've got a really wide head on them. They've got a very wide head, which makes it easy to skip these very far up under docks, up under brush, wherever you want to get it. So if I get a better look at the head. You see how wide that head is? That head is perfect for skipping. These are probably my favorite skipping jigs. Now, if you're looking for, like I said, more little stocking stuffers, something to fill out the tackle box, something that works, are these cream plastic baits. They're about $1.25, $1.30, something like that, in that box on the bottom shelf there at your local Walmart. You can get handfuls of these and not pay more than a few dollars. I love these flukes, these soft plastic jerk baits. I use them all the time. I use them as chatterbait trailers. I rig them up as weightless, Texas rig, and you've seen me catch fish with these. So for $1.25 and you catch fish with them, they work to catch fish. I don't understand why you would pay more. Just like the stick baits, right? And this Alabama Craw color stick bait. These things are money on the little lake. That's why I have this color, is because on certain bodies of water, certain colors work better. Well, on the little lake, Alabama Craw is the color. We're going to go a little bit higher up though. So if you can afford it, if you can afford to splurge on just one thing, make it this thing, the Thunder Cricket, Strike King's Thunder Cricket. Now, I know a jackhammer is going to be what everybody tells you to get. This is what I would throw instead. Now, they're pricey. They're not cheap. They're $13 to $16 depending on where you buy them. I get mine at Academy. They're $13, $14, and they work great. I like these better than I like a jackhammer. And maybe because everybody's throwing a jackhammer and this has got a little bit more of a different sound, but I'm just not a fan of a jackhammer. Now, the jackhammer Stealth I've used to great effect this past year. You guys know that. But the regular bladed jackhammer, I've not done anything with it. I bought 3 or 4 of them. I don't think I've ever caught a single fish on any of them. But this guy right here, I've caught tons of fish on these. So if you want to splurge for something this year, you want to give yourself just a little bit extra, try a Thunder Cricket. I know it's odd. I know not a lot of guys throw these, but tie one on and I think that'll change your mind on that. Now we're going to wrap this up with one final bait, and that's going to be this guy right here, the old Cotton Cordell Super Spot, Super Shad, whatever you want to call them. They are a great lipless crankbait. Again, not going to be expensive, $3 to $4. You can usually find them in that box on the bottom shelf there at your local Walmart. They've got these, they've got the shad color. You can buy the lime green one, you can buy the blue ones. They are great baits. And don't worry about changing the hooks on these. If you're changing the hooks, you're totally defeating the purpose. I don't ever change the hooks on these, and I never lose fish, and I never bend those hooks out. And I'm catching toads. I'm catching 4 and 5 pound bass with these, and I'm not bending out the hooks, and I'm not losing fish. So don't worry about that. Save your money for other things, like getting a Thunder Cricket. But this Cotton Cordell baits, go crazy with them. They are great baits, they're reliable baits, and they will catch you fish. So if you want to save money and you still want to catch fish, this is the best way that I know to do it, is to get quality items, quality gear, not spend a lot of money. I've done the work for you. I know these work because I've been catching fish with these for years. I know these work. So again, I'm not the Bass Fishing Shopping Network. You guys know those types of YouTube channels where they encourage you to buy the more expensive things. They have you click the links in their store or whatever. I'm not that guy. I don't have any store links. I'm not an affiliate to anyone. I tried it out for a while. wasn't happy with it, so I decided that's not really what I want to be. Um, Being the type of channel that I am, I want to have more budget friendly things, things for people who don't have a lot of money to work with. I'm not rich and I don't have oodles of money to work with. Everything that you see on the channel came out of my back pocket. I have zero sponsors. Maybe that'll change one day. Maybe I'll have a flood of people banging down my door looking to throw me some money to corrupt their stuff. Who knows? But for right now, this is what I have to work with. So again, I'm not the Bass Fishing Shopping Network. My job is to show you how to catch fish and save money doing it. Because as we say on this channel, you don't have to be rich to fish. Technique over tackle. Everybody should be able to get out on the water and have a little fun. So hopefully this buyer's guide was helpful to you. You were able to find some of the things that you need. I may put together another buyer's guide. We will see. But these are the things that I wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on the budget gear that really worked well for me. And I know it's going to work well for you. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.